Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Unit 2 review. Remember, no calculator, show all your work, and write your final answer on the line. So the first part says to write the product in exponential form. That means using exponents. So what we need to do is take a look to see how many we've got. We've got 3 of the exact same thing, so I'm going to make sure that I keep that inside the parentheses and I write it to the third power. Okay. Now with number 2, it's the same kind of thing. We've got 4 of those m's, but only 1 negative, okay? So as the previous one, all of them were negative. That's why we had the parentheses. Only one of them's negative, so that's why we have the negative outside of the exponent. Okay, next part says to write an expanded form, so that's pretty much saying make it look like that. So negative 7 to the third power, we have 1 negative and 1, 2, 3 sevens. And number 4 is going to be like number 1 up there, where negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5. We use the parentheses just to make sure we don't forget about those negative signs. Okay, these next ones are saying to evaluate, give the exact answer. Well, 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 9 is 81. Okay, sometimes it helps to write it in the expanded form. You have 18 squared. Okay. Now, if you don't know what 18 squared is, go ahead and take out your multiplication charts. I'm looking for mine right now. Go all the way across to 18, and we get 324. A negative times a negative is positive, so that's why, oh, I forgot to put the negative signs in there. Okay. All right, number 7. Once again, there's only one negative sign and 6 of those 2's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 4 times 4 times 4, 16 times 4, and that gives us negative 64. Okay? Or you can just say 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 16 times 2 is 32, and 32 times 2, 64. Okay? Either way you want to do it. All right, number 2. Number 8. The first thing you want to do is see if you can reduce what's inside. And you can't, okay? So this is pretty much saying negative 4 over 7 times negative 4 over 7. We can multiply straight across. You get 16 over 49. And since you're multiplying it twice, you have 2 negatives, which make it positive. Now, number 9. Once again, we check, can we reduce the inside? And we can't. So that goes to both of those. We pretty much did the same thing here. 4 squared and 7 squared, that's 16 and 49. Okay, so this is saying negative, because there's 5 of them, we know our answer is going to be negative. 3 to the 5th, 2 to the 5th. Okay, we just did a problem with 2 to the 6th, which was 64. 1 less than that is 32. But now we have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 to the 4th right there is 81. So we have to do 81 times 3. And you get 3 and 24. So we get negative 2, 43 over 32. And since we tried to reduce the fraction at the very beginning, we can't reduce it now. Always reduce inside the fraction, inside the parentheses first, to see if you can make it simpler. Okay? All right, number 10, we can't reduce that fraction, so we need to distribute that negative 2 to both items. Remember, they currently have an exponent of 1, and you distribute it to everything. If your exponent's negative, you drop it like it's hot. If it's already on the bottom, we bring it to the top. And when you do that, we get 25 over 49. Number 11, exponent's negative, drop it like it's hot. So you get 1 over 18. Number 12, exponent's negative, you gotta drop that down. So 1 over negative 4 to the third power. So negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4 gives us negative 64. That's, remember, that is on the bottom. Okay, so the 1 goes on top. Okay, 13, they're telling you have to be very careful about this one, okay? First, your exponent's negative, so we got to drop it like it's hot. There's a negative 6 squared, okay? So that's saying in expanded form, negative 6 times 6. The exponent only goes to the base, which is the 6. Okay, so when you do that, you get 1 over negative 36. All right, some of our favorite problems right here. I'm just going to double check to make sure those signs are correct. Oh, hold on real quick. And we are good. Okay. So, exponent's negative, we got to drop it like it's hot. So that's 1 over 2 squared minus 1 over 5 to the first. When we do that, you get 1 over 4 minus 1 over 5. We need to find a common denominator of 4 and 5, which is 20. I have to multiply that by 5 and that by 4. Remember, what you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. Okay? And so that's what we're really doing, and we get 1 over 20. Number 18, remember when your exponent 0, your base turns into 1. So you have 1 minus 2 to the first power, or 2 times 1 I mean. 2 times 1 is 2, and 1 minus 2 is negative 1. All right, 16. Once again, when your exponent 0, your base turns into 1. So this is negative 3 times 1 plus 1. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, and when you add those up, we get negative 2. All right, 17, once again, when your exponent 0, your base turns into 1. So that's 2 to the 5th times 1 plus my exponent's negative. I need to drop it like it's hot. Minus 1. Okay, so we have 2 to the 5th plus 1 to the 5th minus, I need everything to have a common denominator. Okay, so we've got that negative 1 right there, and I need it to have a base of 5, or a denominator of 5. And that's 1 over 1. So what you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. So that turns to negative 5 over 5. Combine your like terms. And we get negative 2 over 5. Okay. Simplify using the properties of exponents. Answer can only contain positive exponents. All right, so we multiply the numbers to get negative 18, and then we add the exponents. So 3 plus 7 is 10. For 19, when we distribute the negative right there, or the negative, the exponent, we multiply. So 3 times 6 is 18. So we get 18x. Okay, looking at number 20, we always check to see if we can reduce what's inside the fraction, and in this case we can't. So everything, if it doesn't have an exponent, it's an exponent of 1, and we need to distribute that 5 to everything. So we get 2 to the 5th power, x to the 15th because we multiply, and w to the 5th. And now we can simplify that because we know what 2 to the 5th is. Okay? That's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. I think that was enough, but it's 32. Okay? All right, number 21. Remember that everything has an exponent of 1. So this is really saying negative 4 squared n to the 16. And negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. 22 is a question that was very similar to the pretest that we just took, where only your exponent, okay, whatever's the base, that drops. Okay, that 14 has an exponent of 1, so that stays on the top, and only the m drops down. Okay, 23. Before we start combining things, let's distribute that negative, or the exponents, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So this is really saying negative 2 to the 3rd power, n to the 3rd power, 3 to the negative 2, and n to the negative 2. So we've got some negative exponents. We're going to drop it down. 2 to the 3rd power is 8n cubed, and then the 3 squared n squared. So when we simplify that, we have 8. 3 squared is 9. And then with your n's, who wins, the top or the bottom? Okay, the top wins, and the top wins by 1. Okay, so for 24, can we simplify the inside? We can't. So we're going to distribute that to everything. And we get 5 to the negative 2, a to the negative 2, b to the negative 6. Okay? If your exponent's negative, drop it like it's hot. If it's already on the bottom, bring it to the top. So we get b to the 6, and then 5 squared a squared. And when we simplify that, we get b to the 6 on top, 25a squared. Okay, 25. First thing I want to do is to simplify that. And when we simplify it, it's 5 divided by 10 is 1/2, and that's a negative 1/2. It's not 2, guys. And the 2, it goes on the bottom. All right, x is who wins, the top or the bottom? The bottom, and the bottom wins by 14. And then who wins with the y's, the top or the bottom? The top wins, and the top wins by 1. Okay, so you get negative 1y over 2x to the 14th. Okay. Negative 3 over 12 turns to negative 1/4. If your exponent's negative, drop it like it's hot. So that's m7 and 9 come down. I still have an n on the bottom, and then m to the 5 comes up to the 5th. Okay? So now looking at this, there are exponents that I can combine. I have to see who wins, the top or the bottom. And then when we're done, we have negative 1, 4, m squared n to the 10th. All right, guys, only a couple more, so bear with me. Okay, we've got the same base, so then we just add the exponents. 9m and 2m gives me 11m. 28, who wins, the top or the bottom? The bottom, and the bottom wins by 2. So everything on the top cancels out, and we're left with w, and then 2y is our exponent. All right, 29. We definitely went over 29 in class. Before you start distributing, let's clean this up, okay? 12 divided by 4 is 3. The x's, who wins, the top or the bottom? The bottom wins, and the bottom wins by 2. Okay, and then we have y to the 6th, y to the 4th. Okay, clean up your y's, the top wins by 2. And now you have to distribute that -3 to everything, okay? So we have 3 to the -3rd, y to the -6, and x to the -6. All right, so if your exponent's negative, you drop it like it's hot. If it's already on the bottom, bring it to the top. So our final answer is x to the 6th. 3 to the 3rd power is 27. Y to the 6th. All right, best ones. Convert to standard form, standard notation. I have a negative, so that means I need to move the decimal 1, 2, 3, 3 spots to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 3. Okay. For 31, I need to move it 5 spots to the right. So 1, 2, and then 3 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 781,000. Okay, converting this to scientific notation, I need to move it 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. So I moved it 4 spots to the left, which means they need to move it 4 spots to the right. Okay, once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I moved it 6 spots to the left. They have to move it 6 spots to the right. Okay. Simplify and write your answer in scientific notation. We have to do the operation first. So we have 3.7 times 5, which gives me 5, carry the 3, 15, 18. So 18.5 times 10. And then I have to add my exponents, okay? So 2 plus -4 is -2. Now, it's not in scientific notation. I have to move it 1 spot to the left. They have to move it 1 spot to the right. Okay, so my final answer is 1.85 times 10 to the -1st. Okay, that's one. We have to do the operation, so 9.4 divided by 4. 4 goes into 9 twice, and that's 8. Drop the 4. 4 goes into 14. How many times? 3 times, which gives us 12. And I need to go one more decimal, okay? 4 goes into 20, 5 times. Okay, so we have 2.35 times 10. And then remember, we have to subtract those. So -2 minus -5 to the 3rd power. So 2.35 times 10 to the third. Okay? Well, guys, that's it for Algebra 2 Unit 2 review. Hopefully this will get you ready for that upcoming test. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. Otherwise, that's it. Mr. Grice, signing off. Thanks for watching.